are, but this is an awful long wait.
There it is. Finally. Look, it's only two of us. It's the Tellman and Fellman Show with only Tellman and Fellman today. I'm Harris Fellman, and that is
Tellman Knudsen. Welcome to the Tellman Fellman Show, episode 41.
41. That's right. And today we're going to. I'm just going to read what we posted so that we get it on camera. It's time for episode 41 of the Tellman and Fellman Show, and it just so happens that Tellman and Fellman have decided to do 75 hard. So we'll talk about our experience so far and thoughts around that, which I think anybody tuning in would find very interesting if you don't know about it, and if you do know about it. So we'll talk about that, and then we'll also share with you the single most powerful strategy for building a large, responsive audience of perfect customers and clients for your business, also known as how to build a massive and responsive email list.
That's right.
If you're ready to amp, and this is the own your own email list camp. So if you're ready to amp up your audience, we'll tell you where to go later. So come on, give us a thumbs up, ask us questions, whatever you want to do. Here we go.
We'll tell you where to go right now, I think. We actually just got this page live. It took us a little while. You can go to Automatic Audience.
Oh yeah, put the link up.
AutomaticAudience.net, and you can read all about how to build a giant responsive audience.
But don't watch the video while you're watching our video. That would just be rude. But please go to the site, automaticaudience.net, and quite frankly, if anything catches your eye, just stay there, and you can buy the product. It's super affordable, and you're going to get a ton of amazing content. But aside from that, you're going to get one of the most powerful strategies known to man to build a big responsive audience. So, but we wanted to talk about 75 hard first.
Yeah. So it's day one of 75 hard for Harris and I. Harris, I've been through 75 hard a few times before, and Harris, this is your first time. And so we're gonna talk about that. I am grumpy and tired today because I did 2 days of 75 hard warm up. So here's the deal with 75 hard, guys. 75 hard. We have a little bit of an echo. I feel like. Do we?
I don't hear an echo.
Okay, well, I feel like I do. So I'll turn the volume down a little bit, and we'll just have to wait and see how it turns out. So I don't hear an echo now, but so maybe as Harris pops back on, that will solve itself here. Let me see.
Sorry, refreshed the wrong page. Sorry about that.
All right, we sound good now, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So underneath all my birthday wishes, people can see this show. Yesterday was my birthday.
That's right. So that's one of the things is, didn't you say as of today there are 75 days left in the year?
I was off by a couple of days.
Okay, well, that's okay.
But that was the thought. I thought since my birthday was October 15th and there's 30 days in a month, but there's 31 in one of them in 2 of these 3 months. So it's 2 days off. And I didn't think when I said that, oh, that means I'll be doing this during Christmas.
That's right. And it'll be the best Christmas ever. So here's the deal with 75 hard, guys. So Andy Frisella came up with 75 hard. I don't know Andy, but we'll probably interview him for our show sometime. This is the original book, 75 hard. And it's a process that he developed, a tactical guide to winning the war with yourself. Really, it's a training system in mental toughness, right? And the way I describe it to people is it's a system that helps you, that strengthens your ability to follow through on the commitments that you make to yourself. In particular, the commitments that you make to yourself that nobody else knows about, right? Those little things that you say you're going to do to improve your life that you then proceed to slack off on and never follow through with. You want to get better at that? 75 hard is a great way to do it, but it is hard and it's meant to be hard. The idea is that
it's purposefully hard.
It's absolutely.
I'm not a fan, to be honest. Like I want to let Tellman maybe motivate me a little bit more on it, but like I'm not a fan of it, and I'm going to be honest about that. This is where I kind of came into this. I know, yeah, I have. I did it a whole day. Conceptually, I'm not a fan. I'm just saying that, but it's. I'm being honest. I'm like, fuck this shit. honestly. Like,
I mean, it's hard. You should
yeah.
feel that way, but you shouldn't do it. So that's the thing. So 75 hard. Here's the deal. Here's the recipe. Okay. So number one is commit to a diet that moves you in the direction of your health and fitness goals. It can be any diet you want, but you want to choose a diet that moves you directly in the direction of your health and fitness goals. Ideal, and this is not a diet you're already on. Okay, you need to improve what you're doing right now. You have to make it better, right? The whole point is to push yourself here. So choose a diet that moves you in the direction of your health and fitness goals. When we'll go into details later. The second one is drink a gallon of water per day. I'm actually just getting started on my gallon, to be honest, today. It's
It is
like,
my last 750 milliliters, and it'll be a
boom,
gallon.
nice. Then, so you exercise twice a day. Okay, so a
Well, I
diet.
will say that the water seems to be helping with the food. Like that for me, like I think my body's just so like whoop, got that.
Yeah.
I like was having to kind of force myself to eat this morning, to be honest with you. Like, oh, I guess I better get my meal in, otherwise it's all gonna,
Yeah,
be
yeah.
at
In
the
a
end.
week, that's not going to be an issue when your body's like burning all your available calories from all the workouts that you're doing, and then recovering all the time. You're going to be plenty hungry, but like, yeah, a big reset is happening. So commit to a diet. You cannot have any exceptions to the diet, so you have to stick to the diet without any bullshittery, right? You must stick to it. So if there are some sort of exceptions built into the diet, you can do that. But you can't. You have to follow the diet verbatim, whatever
Well,
it
no,
is.
if the diet has a cheat meal, you can't do that.
No, I fully disagree with you.
It says in the stuff that if you
No,
have a
no, you have to follow the diet.
right, I'm saying if the diet set, but you just said if the diet allows an exception, but if the diet allows, you can't pick a diet that allows a cheat. Seriously, now it works. You can't pick a diet that allows a cheat meal.
I
You
think
can't.
that's. I don't agree with you.
Okay.
I totally don't agree with you. The whole point is to follow the diet verbatim, whatever it is. Follow the rules. So choose a diet that's going to move you in the direction of your health and fitness goals. If it is, like, that's okay. Like what
It's
like
literally like in the app, even like no cheat meal. Like it literally. Okay, whatever. Let's move on. We're not Andy Frisella,
well,
but
look, you get to choose your diet. If you want to choose a diet without any cheat meals or like I don't know, like
well, okay.
I haven't been on many diets. The only diet I've ever tried in my life is the bulletproof diet, and there's no such thing as a cheat meal. They're just there are things that you eat and things that you don't eat, and things that you should generally stay away from, and things that are kind of like wiggle room areas. But
It
every
says
diet's
no,
different.
no, no, no cheat meal, no alcohol,
Yeah.
no
So
junk food,
with the diet, no matter what diet you're on, no alcohol, right?
and no
Um,
junk food.
So gallon of water a day, diet, no alcohol. You have to exercise twice a day, and each time you exercise, it has to be minimum of 45 minutes. I did an hour and a half hot yoga workout last night, which completely destroyed me. And then 2 days prior, on Tuesday, or no, whatever, on Monday, I went to the gym for the first time in like 3 years.
What insane hot yoga does it for 90 minutes? Is this normal?
My girlfriend's sister teaches yoga and teaches hot yoga. I wasn't expecting it to be 90 minutes, but it was.
Phew.
And there were 20 people in the room, and it was small. It was packed and it was hot. I was sweating buckets. Um, so, um, so diet, gallon, exercise twice a day. One of the
45 minutes
exercise
more.
routines needs to be outside. So again, like if it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's dark, if it's cold, get over it. Do it anyway. If it's too hot, if it's hot, do it anyway. Um, you need to take a progress pic. And so I like to say this as a scantily clad selfie, not like, like you can wear shorts and like, if you're a woman, put on a sports bra or something, but basically wear as little clothes and still be decent as possible. You don't actually need to share that with any other human beings, but you do need to take it and have it be on your phone so that you can see the progress that you're making, even if you're not doing this in order to gain muscle or to get super lean. The reality is the change that will happen to your body from working out twice a day for 75 days is amazing. And you will end up looking comparatively ripped to however you look right now. And it makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference, especially when you're done and you look back, you're like, holy moly, I really made, I've never actually had a six pack in my life, but when I did 75 hard, I almost had a six pack. So,
wow. And read 10 pages.
And read 10 pages of nonfiction. Hopefully it's nonfiction educational that, again, is moving you in the direction of your goals, whether it's health and fitness, whether it's financial, whether it's marketing, whether it's education, whether it's spiritual. And what I'm doing is I'm working on a project with my friend Jonathan Mizell, who many of you know. He has a book that he sold 27,000 copies of called The Fatty Liver Solution. And though I have no diagnosis of a fatty liver condition, both of my parents do. And so and it's mostly a vegetarian diet. It's an extreme clean eating diet. The whole point is liver detoxification and only eating foods that will help to aid and support in the detoxification and cleansing of one's liver. I'm working on a big project and funnel with him on this project, but I've never read the book. So I figured I'd read the book and follow the diet for 75 days and as an experiment and see how it affects me. So that's what diet I'm going to do. I actually have a copy of it right here. The Fatty Liver Solution, right there. Jonathan Mizell. So that's kind of cool. So I'm tying the diet back into, my business life in that way.
I have a birthday card from my mom. My book's in another room.
What book are you reading?
I'm reading War of Art. I had already started it, so I want to finish it, and it's going to go really fast.
Short book, yeah.
And I'm also not, I'm counting pages legitimately, not like some of their pages are half pages, so I'm like, okay, that's not a full page.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm reading that again. I've read it before, and I need to figure out what I want to read next. And I also, you've recommended that I get the 75 hard book, which is out of print, and then he's got another book, which it would cost me $60 to get here.
Totally worth it.
But I may get something along those lines of like mental toughness. I think it's called mental toughness. And it doesn't necessarily have to come from him. I'm not all, I told you yesterday, I'm not all sold on, I guess there's multiple ways to get mentally tough. And I do believe this is one of probably the strongest that I've ever seen. I'm not going to.
It's the best thing that I've tried, and again, it's not, you do it in pushes of 75 days, and there's more to it and there's more that happens after the 75 days and whatever. But like, as a general rule, like it's a really good process to do a couple times a year. It really is. And hey, maybe there's something better out there, but I found it to be incredibly useful for getting me back on track in the various areas of my life that I tend to let slip.
So even the things that aren't related to health, right? Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah. What happens is you end up doing your dishes. Like what ends up happening is you train yourself to do the stuff that you don't really want to do every day as early as possible. That's the way. That's like the byproduct of doing this successfully. Because if you wait, you end up at midnight trying to do all this crap, and it sucks. And so we have a couple of friends who are joining us from the internet. Justin Glover, who I don't think I've ever met personally. I don't even know if him and I have talked. Maybe we have. I don't know. And then another friend of yours, Wayne, right? And so I would say that 75 hard is it's a really, really good way to train yourself to do the stuff that needs to get done that you don't want to do, and prioritize it and feel great when you do it instead of procrastinating around it and avoiding it. And so I find that when I'm on 75 hard, my dishes get done faster, my house is cleaner, my car is cleaner, I have fewer loose ends. I'm making more progress on all my business projects, like all the things get more tightened down. And
Yeah, the first thing that you mentioned, I don't care. Like, I know the dishes have to get done, but like
well,
I
everybody has a different example of their dirty dishes, though. It's
mm,
like what's the thing? What are some things in your life that you let slide and you just don't you need to do them, you don't really want to do them, so you slough it off. That's the whole point. The dish. It's not about the dishes, right? It's about the thing or the things that you're like you're not doing a good job at in your life, and you feel bad about it. So like, let's go get it. Like and you can train yourself in order to scan your life for the things for the loose ends. Like it really helps for me anyway. It really helps to tie it up. So um,
okay.
that's 75 hard, and
So
it's
today's day
hard. It's
one. You were
great.
tired. I'm tired. I'm not too bad. I mean, it's my first day. I did kind of practice runs as well the last couple of days, but knowing that I wasn't gonna do a diet yesterday because it was my birthday and I'd already committed to going somewhere with my daughter. Um, and I mean, I didn't eat that crazy, but I definitely had something sweet. So,
Yeah,
which I won't, I won't be having anything with sugar for the next 75 plus days. Which I generally don't have a ton anyway. I have a lot of non-sugar, non-sweet. I have sweet stuff like this. I actually have a non-sugar thing in there, sweetening it, stevia. But that helps me down more
yeah,
water.
totally.
So anyway, and then the so I look. I get up because I'm in the UK. I get up I can get up pretty late. Like my first commitment is with you at 9 a.m.
Right.
At 9 a.m. your time, which is 2 p.m. my time.
Yeah,
So
I woke up. I set my alarm for 6 this morning, which is normally when I wake up. But I woke up naturally at 5:30. Just got up, went to the bathroom, drank some water, banged out my run. Right.
yeah, and I trapped myself to make sure that I would do it. I scheduled something at the gym as my
Great.
first thing because I knew I wasn't going to go to the gym later, and just I have other stuff this afternoon, and I scheduled like a cycle class, and then
Great.
it turns out that the cycle class was 30 minutes instead of 45.
Right.
So I was like, oh. Okay, I guess I'm doing 15 minutes or 20 minutes of resistance training.
Yeah. Yeah. Getting on the rowing machine or like lift some weights or something.
I mean, the thing I really need to add into my workouts are resistance training anyway. So every opportunity I get to do that, I will. And then I went on a long, 50-minute walk outside before our call. That was,
Cool.
but I'm tired and I feel it. I was
Yeah.
sweating with the walk, which I don't generally do, which was interesting. I guess because my body was still going from
Yeah.
a few hours
Yeah. You'll find
before.
some changes with that
And
sort of
then,
happening.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm having my own like thoughts about it, I guess. But again, I was really freaking out a couple days ago. Decided, okay, look, I'm just going to take this day by day. Now, I will say that Justin Glover, he asked a couple of prompts, like questions, like why are you doing this? And I'm like, oh, I mean, I don't know. And that might for most people, they might say that's going to probably be why you fail. And right the second, I'm like, I'm okay with that. I said I'm taking this one day at a time. If I do
Yeah.
this, if I think it's going to be easy to do for X number of days, I don't know what that X is, you know, and then maybe that's going to get me more committed. I don't know, Um, so we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one. I mean, honestly, that's a good reason to read the book, is because it'll really help to focus your brain on why you're doing this.
Yeah, I really maybe I really don't like. I don't really like the messaging so far. To be honest with you, I don't
You
like
don't
this
need to
guy.
like the messaging if you can learn from it. Yeah, you don't need to like the messaging to learn from it. That's
Okay.
what I found. Like I don't really like his style. Like um
Well,
Andy Andy is very, as far as I can tell, I've never met him, but as far as I can tell, he's very alpha, very like, you know, like tattooed, kind of like he seems like a tattooed alpha masculine. He's probably really into guns and like, dominating and all this kind of stuff. And I don't really like that. But
Well, he does say that he
I feel
started
like,
out in success with that dominating,
yeah,
and then he realized that he, um, it's fine to take people along with you.
right. Yeah.
Basically that, if they want, but it was kind of like, I'm going to run hard. And if they want to stay with me, then, and it made me think of me and you. I feel that way sometimes with you and I think I'm keeping up. Okay. But sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to, I'm not, I don't think I'm running across America with you barefoot, buddy. I know we're not
Well, I
literally
mean,
doing that.
that's the thing about teaming up with people, though, is everybody has different strengths, different personalities, different ways of approaching things, and they all have different benefits, right?
Yeah.
And just being like I overdo it a lot, and like it freaks people out sometimes, and it's not for everybody, and that's cool, that's all right. But um, and different people, yeah, I mean, and in business together, like different people are going to resonate with you and your style, and different people are going to resonate with me and my style, and that's, I mean, I think it's good that we're not like total clones of each other. Like we have enough in common already that like I think it would probably be to our detriment if we were both even more similar in certain ways.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, if I'm like, hey, let's let's like, I don't like it when you like yesterday or the day before with Willie, and you did it with another guest. Like, I didn't love it. Like at the end where you're like, trying to hold their feet to the fire about something that they, almost randomly, said just, oh yeah, yeah, I'm thinking about, I forget what his was. I'm thinking about putting a whatever, a back end off.
Webinar for his offer. Yeah.
Yeah, you were like, "Oh, have you thought about doing a webinar for it?" And he was like, "Yeah, I've been thinking about it." And you were like, "You want to commit?" And I was like, "Dude,
Well,
like,
I asked him and he said yes. I was like, "Do you like? Are you okay with some pressure?" And he gave me consent. you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
like he was ready, and then he thanked me for pushing him. So
yeah,
like, but it does. There isn't there. I mean, there is an
yeah."
uncomfortableness.
He's also on camera, so who knows?
Who
You
knows?
know,
Who knows? I mean, we'll see. But
but
Willie's awesome. Like, I wouldn't be at all surprised if he did a webinar and crushed it with it.
yeah.
Um,
And by the way, I don't feel that way about you and me and 75 Hard. To be clear,
well, you decided to do 75 hard before I
yeah,
decided to
but I
jump
think you
on
just,
board
I
with
think you
you.
mentioned it to me, and I checked it out, and I didn't check it out well enough, and I was just like, "Oh, it's 75 days until the end of the year after my birthday. I should do something,"
Yeah, good
And
choice.
then,
I strongly commend you on that commitment, Paris.
thanks,
That was the right move.
thanks. And I don't have to be happy about it
No,
yet.
you don't.
Although I do think that's one of the things that we, I hope, I guess, to learn from it, because I really want to look at my challenges and be grateful for them, because I'm going to be overcoming them, and like it gave me something to overcome and learn from. And man, just a lot of challenges this year. So I mean, I do, I can take a step back and do that, but man, in the moment, phew.
Oh, it
So
sucks in the moment, dude. I was out running this morning. I was like, my legs were heavy. I felt like my groin was pulled. I fell over in yoga last night and pulled some muscle in my hamstring that attaches into my butt, and I only was able to do 2/3 of the yoga workshop or the yoga class. But like, and I was out running at 6:15 this morning, and like I love running, and I did not want to be running for most of that run. Like it was brutal, and so um yeah, like it's not all about suffering, but some of it is about suffering and learning to roll with whatever you got. I mean, a lot of it's about like presence and acceptance. Like be with what is, and like work through it. Whatever you got, whether it's awesome or whether it completely sucks.
yeah, well, this morning I was thinking, um, in 2019 was when so my business was going really well. Was happily married for 17 years at that point. My kids were doing well. They're teenagers at that point, just about, or, whatever. Yeah, 12 to whatever. And I started performing,
Yeah,
like at the end of 2018. And then, by the time the beginning of 2020 rolled around, I was performing a lot in Barcelona. My business was on autopilot. happily married. I remember walking home from a gig saying, wow, this, I'm living my dream.
Mm.
And, going and doing live events
And
and
then it
everything.
turned into a nightmare.
It did. The
Yeah.
pandemic hit 2 months later. And then pretty much rolling out of that, eventually, my wife and I split up, not because of that even. Um, my business is, currently taking a major hit, but it was on a decline. That business was on a decline already. And it's interesting. It's like it's a whole bunch of. I was just thinking about it this morning, like that moment of bliss, really, and how it's there is a paradoxical relationship, ooh, big word, between bliss and challenges. I don't believe that like hitting stride. I don't think I caused the pandemic. Is what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah, 100% your fault, Harris.
But that wasn't that to me. The pandemic wasn't a challenge for me. Like we've said before, like
Yeah,
we
for
would
a
just.
lot of internet marketers, the pandemic. I mean, obviously, many people had family members that got severely sick or that died. Like lots of bad things happened. But for internet marketers on a day to day basis,
Well, I didn't
most
know
of
the
us,
pandemic was a challenge for me, but it was because that's when Andrea started kind of going in a different direction. So it was I guess a complacency or something
sure,
that occurred. But anyway, that's it. That's kind of the touch of my realization today. But I don't feel like I have to like overcome massive challenges in order to get bliss. But there's things that, but there's definitely big, a grand joy and perhaps bliss that does come from overcoming the challenges. But
well, the
like,
other thing is though, dude, when you develop when you strengthen your internal confidence on a daily basis, that gives you the feedback that you can work through and overcome almost any challenge that you're presented with immediately. What ends up happening is you realize that you can go after bigger things.
mm,
You can do so much more in your life if you have that confidence that you're like ready, willing, and able to just tackle it, regardless of what life throws your way. You can widen your vision and go after something more meaningful, or create or do something more meaningful, because if you're trying to make more money, if you're trying to grow a bigger business, if you're trying to start a nonprofit, if you're trying to make your mark on the world in whatever way, it's going to be fraught with challenges. The bigger you get, the more successful you get. I mean, more money, more problems. Like not, it's totally true. And so when people get capped out, when people get plateaued, more often than not, they're not trying anything new. They're not going for it. Their confidence is shot, and they don't have the guts to like go after something. And we all come up with all sorts of justification to make us feel good about this, but I don't know, man. Like, go through it and decide. When you're done. Like just check it out. One of the other really beneficial things about the book is that it tells you what you're likely to experience as you go through the different stages of the 75 days. And it is so spot on. It says, okay, here's what's going to happen in the first week and a half. Here's what you're going to be feeling and experiencing in the second and third weeks, and so on. And it's absurdly accurate.
mm.
So it can kind of paint the picture for some of the like ups and the downs that you might feel along the way.
Well, yeah, I mean, I mean, it would be $100 for me to get it within a week. So,
Whatever. Yeah, I
um,
mean, I would recommend that you get it as soon as you can, because yeah, I'm going to get a copy of the new book too. Um, to
yeah, I
start with
will.
as my second book when I finish this one.
So we've went about a half hour. If we want to keep going, we can talk about automatic audience a little bit. I have a really great intro question on that for you, if you
Great,
want
lay
me
it
to.
down. What's your intro question?
Is automatic audience an internet marketing version of 75 hard?
No, it's a good question. No and yes, right? I mean, it is so automatic audience is a system that Harris and I have been using for over 15 years. It's based on a model that I stumbled into when I was first getting started in internet marketing in 2003, where I ended up interviewing almost 100 of the biggest names in internet marketing and personal development for a big project called List Crusade. And I did all these interviews, built up a list, was making a little bit of money, but then I learned how to do teleseminars, right? And now teleseminars are webinars, but back then they were teleseminars just on the phone and there was no video component. And um, teleseminars kind of allow you to sell high ticket in a usually a 45, 60, 90-minute long format, kind of like speaking from stage, kind of like an infomercial, where there's a long educational, entertaining presentation that also sells often on a higher ticket in our industry coaching program, but you can sell whatever you want, really. Whatever your customers are looking to buy. And um, automatic audience is a process that was developed over time. But Harris went through it and he became one of my star students and went on to make hundreds of thousands of dollars following this process and did a few summits after that. And I went on to do several summits, and I created a course back in the day. I had sold thousands and thousands of copies of this course at $4,000 a piece, and had tons of students that went on to implement it and have had wild success. And then I proceeded to stop teaching it for like 15 years for whatever dumb reason. I did several summits in that time, and it works every time to build a big responsive list in almost any market or niche. So if you are a new business owner and you're looking to launch a new business, you're looking to build a new audience, you're looking to build a new list, this is a great way to go. If you are an existing business owner in an existing market and you want to dramatically amplify the size of your audience, you want to get a whole bunch of fresh blood in the door, you want to bring a bunch of great people in that are ideal to buy the types of products and services that you have to offer, it's a great amplifier, right? It's also a
So
lot of work.
I just want to say it is a lot of work, but I don't think it's comparable at all to something like 75 hard. 75 hard literally. Now, look, if you can apply what I'm about to say to it, it'll do even better for you. But 75 hard is unforgiving. You can't make a glitch one day, you know. So it's
Well,
so
hold on.
we're gonna
Well, you can and you will make a glitch with 75
then you
hard.
got to start over.
You have to start over, and you have to, and we've talked about this offline a little bit. Is that, in my opinion, that's the biggest lesson of 75 hard. Right?
Okay, well, even still, with automatic audience, you don't have to start over. If you
No,
go,
but you don't
if you
have to
work
start
on it
over.
for 15, if you work on something for 15 days in a row, and one day something happens, and you're like, oh shit, I wasn't able to get to all of the tasks that I needed to, that I told myself I would get to that day, then you're still at day 16.
Well,
Whereas,
you are, but still. But here's the thing: like with most people, with hypnosis, before I started my own business, all I did was work with weight loss clients when I was working for my trainer and teacher. And so many people in weight loss, and I'm not talking about gurus, I'm talking about people trying to lose weight. They'll commit to a diet or an exercise program and they'll go after it for a few weeks. And then, or when people are trying to quit smoking, same kind of thing. And then they screw one thing up on one day. They feel bad because they screwed it all up. And then they give up on themselves and they
okay,
don't even try the next day. And
right,
that's the habit you want to break, is
okay,
no matter how it turns out, like, you are human. Humans are full of flaws. Okay.
yeah.
So it might be that are just, it might be one day that you're just too lazy to follow through on
Well, see,
all of the 75 hard stuff.
I go through phases in
Yeah.
my life where I'm that person that you referred to, where I'll start a diet or something, and then eventually I'll do that a few times in a row, and I'm like, why even start?
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, you mentioning weight loss. That's I've you know me. If you look at some old pictures, I'm a big boy, and I'm
You,
not.
were-
I don't.
you, you were.
I was a big boy. Yeah, I actually relate very well with this weight right now. I'd still like to be smaller. Um, but anyway, or less fat, I should say. So but I very much relate to what you said, but then 3 or 4 times in my life, I have stuck to it long enough to get results, and longer and longer, and a year or 2 years, and then I take my foot off the gas.
Yeah, well,
So
let's talk about business, dude. Like, how much of an issue is shiny object syndrome in internet marketing land? Like, all of our students, all of the teachers are running around from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing, hoping the next new shiny object is going to solve all your problems for you. The new course, the new software, the new this, the new that, the new AI prompt, whatever. Guess what? It's not going to solve any of your problems. Maybe one or two of them, but it's not going to solve the core problems, right? And jumping ship on a commitment that you made to follow what looks like a better commitment, or jumping ship on a commitment you made because you feel bad about not doing it well, are both just giving up on yourself. And 75 Hard trains you to follow through on yourself, to do the things you set out to do. That's the point. So it's the process by which we get there. It's like 75 Hard kind of gives you the push-ups to do every day, but like it would actually dramatically help anyone who's trying to live stream every day, trying to send email to their email list every day, trying to build their email list every day, really trying to get their business ramped up or off the ground. It really teaches you to do the necessary stuff, whether you feel like it or not. Just do it, right?
yeah, I mean, I'm curious. I cut you off because the point I was trying to make was I don't think automatic audience has that same
It doesn't.
component. But
It
then
doesn't.
I don't think life in general does. Like I can do a diet and I can screw up one day, and I don't have to start back the next. I'm not starting back the next day from the beginning. It's a different paradigm. So, and I don't understand it yet. I haven't gone through it. I haven't read. I've listened to the podcast 3 times on it, but I haven't read the book on it. That's fine. Um, and So I get that. I understand that, and I'm willing to learn. But I'm well. Here we are. We're on camera. I'm asking. What are you saying? What do you think it's saying about like the importance of like, so because you just said something to me. You just said something like, oh, you can screw up one day, but then you're starting day one again.
What the point is, you have to start over all the time. Don't let screwing something up derail you. Don't let your errors derail your commitment to what you're doing for yourself in your life, for other people. Just because you screw something up doesn't mean you stop.
See,
That's the point.
and this is, I know that the course, the it's not even a course, that the program,
Yeah.
75 hard program, it doesn't allow, like, I'm like, well, then why not just say do it for 75 days and see how, if you can get all 75, great. You know what I mean? Like,
We'll find
I know
out.
that.
You will find out after you go for like 50 days and then you forget to take your progress pick and you have to start over. You will get that's when you will understand what I'm saying here.
Okay.
Like I had to restart the program 3 times the first time I did it. It was brutal. Ended up doing it for over 100 days. Before like it sunk in. No, like get your reading done in the morning, take your progress pick and guzzle that water. Like, like it's super important.
Yeah.
So, 75 hard isn't for everyone, but if it fires you up, it is free. It's cool. You can
Well,
do
yeah,
it.
I was gonna kind of talk about that really quick. Like, there's no real business model to it. I mean, he gives away the meat
No,
for
no, the
free.
business model is there are going to be a whole bunch of people that watch this episode and are going to go to 75hard.com just because we're talking about it. That's the
Right.
business model. I'm sure his list is growing for the last several
Mm.
years since he launched it, like freaking bananas. And he sells his book. He
But
sells his.
I don't even think I had to opt in to find
Yeah, you
out.
did.
Like,
Yeah, you did.
I did
Yep.
to
To
find
get to
out
the
the rules
podcast,
of it.
to get to the podcast, you had to opt in.
To get to the podcast, I had to opt in. But I think he says this is. I mean, no,
I mean,
maybe it's.
who wouldn't opt in? If you actually want to do something, why would you not opt in?
Oh yeah, sure.
There's no actual good reason
No,
to
but
not
it's still,
opt
that's
in.
a commitment. Maybe I read the page and go, this isn't for me.
Yeah, in which case, why be on his list in the first place? The no squeeze page converts at 100%, right? Like no registration page converts at
Yeah, yeah,
100%.
yeah, yeah. No, no. In fact, his might not convert very well because it is so hard.
Yeah,
But we're,
but
if
it
we,
attracts people who are like into pushing themselves in that
Yeah.
way also, right?
Yeah, if we send 100 people there and he gets, 40 or 50 on his list or whatever, okay, great. So he's building a big list. I guess I'll see what he sends to his list and now that I'm
Yeah,
on it.
he sells, and he also sells like 75 hard water jugs,
Some merch. Yeah.
shirts,
Yeah.
and then I believe he has like some high end mastermind, and stuff like this also.
And like the podcast I heard was whatever years ago and he was like years ago
Yeah,
and it was like, oh, we've got 120,000 people sharing the hashtag already and
yeah,
I'm not selling anything.
right, right. Yeah, no, well, he had his other business, you know what I mean? He didn't have to rely on this in order to build his business. But like,
Yeah.
I would expect it's a massive, massive audience building system. Like, if nothing else, check it out because like what he's doing is cool. It's different.
Yeah.
Um,
He's really providing value for free, which is, you know, you don't see that a lot nowadays.
True, it's true. Cool. Well, so, um, yeah. Long and short of it, guys, is we're doing 75 hard. We're going to be talking about that, I'm sure, on and off throughout our episodes over the next however long. And
And now
in the meantime, um, if you want to learn how to build a large, responsive, profitable audience and email list, get yourself over to automaticaudience.net. And if you're committed, then we're going to teach you how to do a virtual summit that is going to attract the most loyal subscribers and followers you can possibly imagine. They're going to bond directly to you. You're going to discover exactly what products and services in your marketplace they want to buy, whether or not you are offering anything yourself. It's an incredible model. And if you're looking for something like this, then go check it out. It's at a price you're going to be shocked to see. So,
yeah,
um,
and we really give you the
it's the whole thing.
instructions.
So, the
Yeah.
whole thing, soup to nuts. Cool. All right, Harris. Well, anything else we want to go over before we wrap today?
No, I think it's good. I think we can wrap and, maybe we can talk about automatic audience without the 75 hard paradigm mixed in
I'm sure we can.
at some time in the future. Tomorrow we have Alex Jeffries. A little
Cool.
bit later, I think at 10 a.m. Eastern instead of 9. And then the day after that, I'd need to follow up to make sure because it was scheduled a while ago and then we had to reschedule because you were at the hurricane. Travis Ketchum at 11 a.m.
Great.
Eastern because he's on the West Coast as well. So, yeah, so that's what we have coming up, and that's all I have to say.
Rock and roll. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in for Tellman and Fellman. We'll see you in the morning the next couple of days and
All right,
probably
see you
the
guys.
next many, many, many months into
Yes,
the far, far future.
yes,
All right.
sir.
Over now. Thanks,
All right,
Harris.
bye.
Bye, guys.